Hello, my name is Jim Mullany from SciTech Process Solutions. Today is Thursday, September 12th, 2019. Today I'm doing a video source inspection on a remanufactured spin rinse dryer. We do not give our names of our customers out on our videos because these are loaded to our YouTube channel for their acceptance. But I will let you know they're based in California and their purchase order is B as in boy 636408. I'll go over the configuration of the tool first off of the option list, and then we'll talk about a remanufacturing process. So you can see right here it has our state-of-the-art SlickDevice upgraded controllers. These controllers make this spin rinse dryer equal as good as any tool you can buy in the world as a new tool. There's a lot of data acquisition information, troubleshooting. We have nitrogen savings versions. We have lots of different capabilities that most customers love. I won't go into details on this controller because there's lots and lots of detailed videos, training videos on our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and just Google SciTech Process and you'll see a lot of videos. What other options we have here? It looks like it has almost all the options. DI resistivity, DI recirculation, static eliminator, and EMO. So let's check. Well, there's the EMO. You can see that. I see the resistivity probes. They're right there. And then I see the resistivity, those are the anti-static probes, apologize me, right there inside. This is the resistivity probe in the drain box, and I can see we have the bypass DI recirculation. For reference, we have our serial tag on the back of the rinser dryer. This is manufactured by SciTech Process Solutions Inc., 870S model, serial number SRD 01206, date of manufacture 9/2019, and then it has all of the facility's power requirements on it. That SRD number is very important because on our tools, on the inside of the machine, all of the critical components, be it the controllers, the motors, the amps, all have serial numbers that relate to that number in the back for warranty. So if customers ever take our serial tag off, they could void their warranty by not having the information correctly on a rinser dryer. We do that because if you had 10 of these rinser dryers in the fab, you wouldn't know when they were all bought, and a customer could just say, oh, it must be the newest one that has the problem. So we do that for protection of the customers and ourselves. So again, this system has the state-of-the-art SlickDevice controllers. We included at no charge our light indicate system. You'll see these lights change during the video, and I'll go over them when we're processing. So I will go ahead and start the process, and then because it gets kind of boring during the dry cycle, and then I'll talk about our remanufacturing process and all the capabilities of SciTech. Just for a quick reference, we kind of have a standard process here. A 1-minute rinse at 600 RPM, 10-second purge, and I'll talk about that, 1800 RPM, 90-second dry 1 at 1800 RPM, and a 200-second dry 2 at 600 RPM. So, to start the rinser dryers, obviously the cassettes are loaded, you simply hit start. Same thing on the bottom. As you can see, we're in the rinse mode. You can see the nice water spraying. It looks good. The SlickDevice controller, green means good. This means that's what's happening. Right now we have the rinse valve open and the LPP open. And you can see our RPMs are right as stable at 600 RPM. We have a very, very, very stable control system. We have multiple times, thousands of times actually in a second, do we get feedback on the RPM control, so we're exactly on the money. So what we have is we have about a half minute left. Once we finish the 60-second rinse, it's called the purge. What the purge does, it blows air through the water line to blow any water out so it doesn't drip on the wafers when we go in the dry cycle. Once we get into dry 1, I'll explain the rest of the process. Okay, there we go. We're ramping up. Here we go, there's the purge. See how fast we went to 1800 RPM? And we're stable right on the money. Okay, now we're in dry 1 on the top head, dry 2. So for reference, again, the controller, we have our N2 valve open, the N2 heater's on, the bowl heater's on, and the LPP valve is open. That's the low pressure purge. During the video, you'll notice the heater light will go from green to amber, back and forth. That's because as the set point is met on the thermal switch on the heater blanket, it'll open and start cooling the heater blanket so it doesn't go over temp. Once it hits the low point, it closes again and cycles back and forth. It's very common. We should see it probably happen. It could happen 2, 3, 5, 6 times in a process, depending on how long your dry is. So we're running nice and smooth. As you can see, no vibration. So the dry one is meant to be a high RPM dry, sling the water off of the wafers, cassette, and rotor, and use high speed centrifugal force and the N2 blowing in to start the dry process. Then we move into dry 2. There's lots of studies done on particle control that if you can reduce your RPMs in your dry cycle, you tend to have better particle counts. So what we do is in dry 2, we'll drop down to 600 RPM, and we'll then use centrifugal force, hot N2, heater blanket, and for drying of the wafers and the cassettes. Also, in dry 2, the anti-static module comes on. That destatitizes the chamber for particle control. You'll actually see that right now because I heard it. That little button right there, that's a lightning bolt. It means we just turned the anti-static module on. We're one of the only companies we know of, actually, that monitor the anti-static. We have a proprietary algorithm that we monitor it, and we can let you know if it's defective. It's a key issue in our controller because traditional rinser dryers don't monitor it. And if the anti-static module goes bad, you can have particle problems because it's like if you rub your hair with a balloon, how they're static charged. Teflon causes a static charge when it's spinning. So if your anti-static goes bad, you don't find out till later upstream on the process that you're having yield loss, and you got to work your way back. And it's thousands upon thousands of dollars to get back to a rinser dryer that for one module could have been replaced out immediately, and you wouldn't have had those problems. So we actually monitor that, and if it failed at the end of the process, it'd be an alarm. Here's the example of the amber color going on now on both bowl heaters, which is good. So I'll talk about a remanufacturing process. So it's SciTech process. We don't care what kind of tool you buy, what size, what configuration. We can build up and break down any tools. We do the tool build in the dry area. They call it our dry manufacturing. That's where the head assembly is just built. Here's an example of a system right here. We have a lot of tools, which is a tiny bit. That would be a dry build. And then we have a quality control test list that is done by a second technician. Once the tool passes dry quality control, it's brought into the wet test here. It's hooked up with the DI water, gone through all of the testing, make sure there's no leaks. It goes through another quality control list, and then it's released into the manufacturing people to put it inside of its configuration. Once it's in the configuration and it's debugged, then we do 50 process runs with no errors before we are allowed to video for the customer. If we find any problems, obviously they're addressed during the testing procedures. We got about a minute and a half left. We feel that it's very important to do a lot of quality testing on a rinser dryer because on a remanufactured tool, it's quite common that a valve, it might run for 5 or 6 times, but on the 7th time it might die even though it's been rebuilt. So we go through a lot of series testing of the rinser dryers to make sure that the quality of all the components is valid. When you go to our website at scitechprocess.com, on the left-hand side, you'll see a lot of buttons. The first 7 are all semi-tool related. The first 3 are the tools. We have the S models in Sam, we have the F models in Frank, and we have the traditional STs. We can do any sizes, any configuration, from little parts, 1/2 inch, all the way up to over 300 millimeter. We have about less than a minute left. Then the next 3 buttons are all the spare parts for each specific tool set. On our website, we have 100% spare parts for this tool and all the semi-tool S's, S, and S. I'll go ahead and let the 30 seconds wind down. We'll finish the process, and I'll talk about the other tools that we supply to the front-end semiconductor market. We have about 15 seconds and 18 seconds. What happens at the end of the process, there's a piston back here called the rotor stop positioner, which is RSP for short. It shoots out and it hits the cam assembly. It rolls the cam to what we call home position, which is 12 o'clock. It'll upright the wafers. Once that happens, I'll hear the door release and I can open it. Excuse me. Okay. All right, first thing I like to look at. Process complete. The way you can acknowledge process is you can acknowledge it, you can hit end, or you can open the door. Any of those will acknowledge the process. So you'll notice the top controller when I open the door. There we go, it's been acknowledged. First thing I like to do is feel for the hot N2. Nice and hot, don't want to burn my hand. Let's look at the wafers. Nice and dry, cassette's warm, nice, which we expect. Let me go to the bottom one. Feel for the N2. Yep. Ooh, don't want to burn my hand there. Okay. Wafers nice and warm. Everything looks dry. Looks great. That is a pretty fast process, 210, 300 seconds total. A lot of customers add a couple more minutes to it, especially if they're in an R&D situation where they're not worried about time. One of the things that's really key is that we have built into our controller our N2 saver. You can program that after you remove the wafers, and it's programmable time by the end user, that we turn off the LPP, which saves nitrogen while the tool's idle. Most customers who think they run the rinser dryers on a regular basis think it's running all the time. When we do utilization reports, they find out they're maybe running 15, 18, 20% of the time. The other 80% of the time, they're just wasting nitrogen sitting idle. Excuse me. Okay, so you can see that concludes this part of the video. Our fully remanufactured semi-tool 870S spin rinse dryer, upgraded with the state-of-the-art SlickDevice controllers. It actually not is quite as clear because there's a film over this. We leave the film on until we do final shipment for the customer to protect the screen, and that'll be taken off tomorrow. This tool actually will be packaged tomorrow morning and be shipped to the customer. So going back about our other capabilities, we talked about our spin rinse dryers. We also now, SciTech is the new OEM for Vertec rinser dryers. Martech was the company a year ago. SciTech bought all of the Martech inventory and all the IP rights, so we are now the OEM for all Vertec spin rinse dryers. So if any customers have Vertex, they can come to us. We also do quite a lot of mass cleaners. That would be the K&S, Ultratech, Ultra T. We do all the large HTC floorware Integris box washers, the 8000 all the way to the 8030 model. We have high and low power microscopes. We do Nikon, Olympus, and so forth. We do quite a lot of photoresist pump repair and sales, where we do the IDI pumps, we do IDI controllers, we do Millipore, we do Cyborg, we do the whole array of those. We do, right now on our manufacturing floor, we're doing a Thermco furnace that's being remanufactured. We also have on our floor, we have 2 mass cleaners on the floor. We have a thermal processing system, a Branson Asher. So we do different etch and equipment too. We also do particle counters, the 10-core KLA, the 6000 class, which would be the 6200 and so forth, and the 6400 and so forth. We also do the older ones, the 4000, 4500, and the 5500. So that will conclude this video of our remanufactured, fully remanufactured, I should say, spin rinse dryer. Again, if you go to our website at scitechprocess.com, you can search in the top search bag for anything you want, or you can go down below the semi-tool buttons, all the other buttons for microscopes, for etch equipment, for box washers, for mass cleaners, etc. We have quite a lot. We have large inventory. We have our manufacturing site here, and we also have 2 large warehouses off-site that we store our equipment. If there's any questions, my name is Jim Mullany from SciTech Process Solutions. Our number here is 916-797-9000. Again, thank you and have a great day.